Welcome, welcome. So here we are in Bushkill, Pennsylvania, Lehman County, where we next to Tom's Creek, which we have renamed with Ramananda Prashanti River. It's a nice, very cool river that he likes to dunk in. It's quite cold, but he likes to get in the cold water. And so we are continuing our deep study on the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, deep study in the second chapter. And so I recite the verses that we've covered so far. Yasuvacha, or I'll just say, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vyasuvacha iti samprashna samhrishto vipranam romaharshanai pratipujasvachastejam prabhaktum uprachakrame sutavacha Yam prabhajantam anupetam apeta kritya Dvaipayano viharakatara ajjuhava Putreti tanmayataya taravo binedus Tam sarva bhuta hidayam munan anatosmi Yasvanu bhavam akilam shutasaramekam Adyatmadipam atitirtishatam tamandam Sangsarinam kuruna yaha purana guhyam Tam vyasa sunam upayami guru munina Nalayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narotamam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet Munaya sadhu prishtoham bhavadbir lokamangalam Yatkata krishna samprashno yenatma suprasidati Savai pum samparo dharmo yato bhaktir adhokshaje Ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati Vasudevi bhagavati bhakti yoga prayojitaha Janati asyu vairagya Jnanam chayaduhaitaka Dharma swanustita pumsa Vikshvaksena katasuyat Nodpadayat yadiratim Shrama eva hikevala And the last one Last one is Dharmasya hyapavargasya Narto artayo kalpate Nartasya dharmakantasya Kamo labhaya hismitaha And then today's verse Kamasya nindriya pritir Labo jiveta yavata Is it G? Divasya tattva jigyasa Narto Yascheha karmibihi. Anybody else here? Just the two of us so far. Now, so continue on. Let me open up the verse. So a little summary of what we covered so far. So you have the first six verses. First five verses. Number 6. Munya Sarupishtoham. First 5 verses, I use the acronym. The acronym is DIVINE, DIVINE, to describe the conversational flow in this chapter. And so the first verses are to dignify, to offer respects. And so the first verse, he says that Vyasa is saying that Sutta is about to he's thanking the sages for their great questions. And then Sutta begins to speak, and he begins to glorify Shukadeva Goswami. And he says he is traveling. Parimarga, what is it? Yaswanu Bhavam? No, Yam Pravajantam Pavirirajika. He just wanders. He left home without even taking his initiation or anything like that. And he completely Yaswanu Bhavam. He completely assimilated all the Vedic knowledge. And he's the guru of the Munis, Guru Muninam, Vyasa Sunam, the son of Vyas. And so he glorifies Shukadeva Goswami. Then you have, then he's saying, he's dignifying or he's glorifying the great sages, Nara Narayan Rishi. Each Purana has its own Rishi that is honored. And so Nara Narayan Rishi is honored in the Bhagavatam. Nara Narayan Rishi and Narayan himself. And Divya Saraswati, the divine Saraswati. Not the material Saraswati, but the Saraswati in the spiritual world. Tojayamudirayan. And he says, Munaya Sadhu Prishtoham. All these great, Sadhu Prishtoham, Prishta, they're asking these questions. Bhavadbir Lokamangalam, for the great benefit, bringing auspiciousness for all the lokas, all the worlds, all the people. Yatkita Krishna Samprashno Yenat Mas. Such questions like these, the only thing that can satisfy the self. And so the next section is I, and I means inquiries answered. And so he begins to answer with the 5 and 6. He begins to answer. 5 is more of like an introduction, and 6 and 7, 6 and 7, he answers one of the first questions given by the sages in the first chapter of the Bhagavatam. And what is that brings complete satisfaction of the self? What is the essence of religion? And he says that the essence of religion is bhakti. Bhakti is defined as something that is unmotivated. It's not you're trying to get something out of Krishna, and it is incessant. It is constant. It is not that I have bhakti, and once I am done and I achieve liberation, I'm done with you, Krishna. Actually, the impersonalists, Mayavadis, also speak about bhakti, but their concept is that it's just an instrument. You worship Krishna to become Krishna, and when you're done, you don't worship Krishna. You don't engage in loving exchange with Krishna. You're done with it. Now you've achieved your goal. It's kind of like you engage in some kind of loving relationship with somebody, and you just wanted their inheritance, or you just wanted their money or their fame, and once you get it, then you give up that relationship. So that's not bhakti. Actually, the Mayavadi's rendition of bhakti is compared to the witch Putana. So Putana was sent by Kamsa. Kamsa was very fearful of this omen. The eighth child of your sister, a son of your sister, will kill you. Actually, the demigods gave this warning to Kamsa because they saw at the time he was doing something that frightened them. Now tell me, Carmen, when did that voice come from the sky? Kamsa, you fool! The eighth son of your sister will kill you. Actually, here, let me put my headphones on. You can hear the creak. How does my voice sound? Does it sound nice and clear, or should I put my headphones on?
It sounds clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have, now tell me, I'm going to change the setting. And how is that? Is that more clear?
It's more clear. You can't hear the creak at all.
Okay, so you're missing the benefit of the creek, but we can hear the Bhagavatam a little more clearly. So here's the question. What happened? What was happening when this voice came from the sky? Kamsa, you fool! The eighth son of your sister will kill you.
If I remember correctly, Kamsa got upset and he grabbed Devaki's hair.
No, but
And he was gonna.
what was happening before then? What led up to that?
Oh,
What was he
well,
doing?
he was taking Devaki and her husband to a house.
Yeah, so he was doing Vaishnava Seva. And the demigods were really afraid. Like, we have prayed and petitioned the Lord to get rid of this evil demon, Kamsa. And if Kamsa is going to be serving Krishna's mother in such a nice way and serving Krishna's father in such a nice way, maybe then God won't kill this guy. Maybe he won't kill Kamsa. So they wanted to flip the script. They wanted to change the setting. Let him show his true colors. And so they induced him to reveal his true colors and how he was ready to kill Krishna's mother, Devaki. So they were a little frightened by this service that he was doing. So they decided, let's make this situation come that shows us real colors. So don't forget that. That's your trick. You can ask somebody at the temple that question. Nobody will get the answer. It's a nice trivia question. Everyone remembers the reason why Narada Muni gave Kamsa a little tip, and that was to speed up the Krishna's pastimes for Krishna to appear. This is a different reason. This is the demigods being afraid of Kamsa being too nice to the devotees, and then maybe as a result, Krishna doesn't kill him. And they really thought, okay, we need to get this guy out. He's in big trouble. So now we are on verse Vasudevi Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita. And so then he describes this bhakti that is jnanam and it is vairagyam. These two qualities are byproducts. They come automatically with devotional service. It is knowledge, this awareness of the distinction between the self and the body, the awareness of the Supreme Being. And vairagyam, this actual detachment from this world that comes just by engaging in devotional service. And then we are on, what's the next verse? Dharma. Then he starts to begin to elaborate on this whole science of bhakti. Dharma swanushtita pumsa vikshvakshena katasuyat no pari yadiratim shama evi kevalam. Actually, Dharma swanushtita pumsa vikshvakshena katasuyat. Dharma that is devoid of Krishna bhakti, Krishna kata. It doesn't, if you're engaging in religious, this is Navneet. If you're engaging in religious activities and it doesn't produce rati, attachment to the Supreme, Hare Krishna, Navneet.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji Pranam, how are you?
Very good. Swagatam. Welcome.
Oh, Swagatam. Thank you so much.
We're just doing a whole summary of all the verses that we've covered so far. And so now we're on Dharma Swanushtita Pumsam Vikshvakshena Katasuyat Notpadiyat Yadiratim Shrama Eva Hi Kevalam Shama. So it becomes, actually, if you're Dharma Swanushtita Pumsam Vikshvakshena Katasuyat Notpadi Yadi Ratim. Now there it is, that attachment. If your Dharma does not produce rati, attachment to Krishna and attachment to Krishna kata, it is shrama. It is just waste of time. And then, so Krishna is going to speak about these 4 purusharthas. Navneet, what are the 4 purusharthas?
I didn't get your question. What are the 4 Purush?
4 purusharthas. I will give you one clue. Dharma, artha.
Satya, it's truth.
Dharma, artha, kama, moksha.
Acha dharma, kam, moksha, mad matsara.
So this, most people see this as the great goal of life. And here, Bhagavatam is challenging. Actually, the Panchama Purushartha is bhakti, devotional service. Dharma is not for artha. Actually, dharma that does not produce rati, attachment to Krishna and hearing about Krishna, is just a waste of time. And so the next verse goes into dharmasya hyapavargyasya narto artayo upakalpate nartasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya sismitaha. So dharma is not for financially. So generally you have dharma, then comes artha. Like when the colonizers came to America, the eventually the biggest buildings were the churches. They practiced religious piety. And as a result, then the next biggest buildings were the financial institutions, the Bank of America building, the Wells Fargo building. Those became the largest buildings. And then once that becomes established, then we move to kama. We set up places like Vegas, where we can just enjoy nice big buildings, all about materialistic indriya pratir, the delights of the senses. And then eventually, if we get tired of all that, then we will seek moksha. We will want to, we're done with all the material things, and we just want freedom from the results of material things, the reactions of material things. We seek something a little bit higher. Jai Hari is entering the room. So welcome, Jai Hari. So dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So dharmasya hyapavargyasya. Dharma is actually for apavarga. So as we discussed in the previous verse, you have the kavarga, chavarga, tavarga, kavarga, and pavarga. These are the different Sanskrit alphabets. You have the first 5 consonants, the second 5 consonants, the third 5 consonants, the fourth 5 consonants, and the fifth 5 consonants. The last layer of consonants comes from the lips, the last line. So that line is called the pa line, pavarga. And so there's an acronym in the Vedic literature, pa, pa, ba, bha, ma. Material world is pa, parishram, shrama eva kevalam. A lot of hard work. Pa for pena means a lot of you work sometimes so hard you may foam at the mouth. Ba, banda, bondage. Yavyas, it's frustration and bondage. Then bha, fear, and then the final reward is ma, mrityu, death. So dharma is actually for ultimate liberation. Not even just the idea of just disconnection from this material world, but actually connection to Krishna. Dharmasya hyapavargyasya. It is not for artha. Narto artha upakalpate. And it is definitely not for kama either. Kamo labhaya hismitaha. This is according to the great sages, the smritis. And so now we're on this section. We spoke about dharma, we spoke about artha, and we spoke a little bit about kama. Now here's a little bit more about kama. So today's verse, kamasya indriya pritir. Let's see. Kamasya. Who knows how to say the senses in Sanskrit?
Indriya? Is it called Indriya?
Indriya, yes. So now, kamasya indriya pritir. Na indriya priti. Priti means like very dear, something very, let's look up, what does it say in the word for word? Kamasya indriya pritir. What should you kama? What should you desire? And we've heard this word, even in the West, this word is very popular. You have the book Kama Sutra, which deals with relationships, sexual activity. Many different things are discussed in the Kama Sutra. So priti here is satisfaction of the indriyas. So kama is not actually our desires, should not actually be for the satisfaction of the senses. If you're gonna, so dharma is not for artha is not for kama, and kama is not even for indriya pritir. Kama is not for the satisfaction of the senses. What should you actually desire, materially speaking? Jai Hari, what should you desire, materially speaking?
That I can have a healthy body so I can satisfy the Supreme Lord.
Yes, you can have a healthy body for tattva jigyasa, for understanding the absolute truth. Yes. And thus, can go towards, make your steps towards satisfying the Lord. Labo jiveta yavata. Let's see what it says. Laba, the gain should be jiveta. Just that's what you should be. You should just desire a healthy body. That's it. If you have material desires, just desire to be able to have a body that functions nicely. Maybe a little shelter, some food, just something to keep everything, body and soul, together. Kamo jivasya tattva jigyasa. Because for the living being, what is he meant for? Tattva jigyasa. And narto, his end, his artha. No other end should be there. Karma bihi, by your actions, by your religious actions. Your actions are religious actions. What you should really just desire. So this translation: life desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should only desire a healthy life or self-preservation. Since the human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. We have this verse from Rishabh Dev. What is that verse? I think it's 551. Let me look it up. It's 551. Hare Krishna. 551. Nayom deho deha bhajam nirloke kastan kaman arhate vid bhujam ye tapo divyam putraka yena satvam shuyet yasmad brahma sokyam twanantam. Actually, this human form of life is not to work hard for sense gratification, which is easily available for even the dogs and hogs who are vidbujam, poop eaters. Don't chase after the things that you've already chased after in your previous life as a dog or a hog. Because Americans might not know this. If you live in India, you'll see hogs are poop eating creatures. You might know that about dogs, maybe not so much. If you go to India and you see that many people in the morning, they'll go out to the fields and relieve themselves. And sometimes the dogs are out there looking for their hearty breakfast. You try to give a pig a delicious halava. He's not interested. He's interested in the vidbujam, the excrement. So why should we chase after the things that are being chased after by living entities who are in such lower states of consciousness? Actually, one should engage in tapa, serious discipline, austerity, tapo divyam, putrakate, and so the heart becomes clear, clean. Oh, welcome, Jamie Step Dojo. Welcome. So we're discussing kamasya nindriya pritir. This what should be one's kama or desire. And so we're looking at a little verse from a long verse from the 5th canto, 5th chapter, text 1, and we're covering first canto, chapter 2, text 10. And Krishna's Shukadeva Sutta Goswami is explaining the science of bhakti. So if one attains attains the position with the heart being purified, he can then attain an eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness and material continues forever. So if we have this human form of life, we shouldn't be chasing after the things that the dogs and the hogs are chasing after. Prahlad Maharaj says, Kumar Acharet Pragyo. Who knows? Let's ask. I know this will be too easy for let's see, Navneet. Oh, what does Kumar mean? Everyone except for Navneet. That's too easy for you. Jahri, what does Kumar mean?
Kumar means man.
No.
It doesn't mean man?
No.
Isn't it?
Raj
No,
Kumar?
It means
It's a boy. Little boy.
boy. Oh, okay.
Kumaram Yovanam Jara. You know this verse? Dehi nosmin yata dehi.
Oh, yeah.
Kumaram Yovanam Jara. From youth to babyhood to youth to old age. So as soon as you're 5, you are Kumar. As soon as you can have a little bit of brains, a little bit, you can think for yourself a little bit. That's called Kumar. When you can talk and ask questions and all those things. You're starting to come to Kumar. And so Kumar Acharet, what does Achar mean? Again, Navneet, these are all easy words. Behavior, yes. Is it what you say or what you do? Which one is it?
Achran means what you say, plus then you behave in what you say.
Prachar is what you say, and achar is what you're doing.
Yeah, what you do.
So Kumar Acharet Pragyo, a person who is sufficiently intelligent, they will Kumar Acharet, someone who's intelligent, they should at the very beginning of their life, Kumar Acharet Pragyo, practice Kumar Acharet Pragyo, Bhagavat Dharma Niha in this life, Bhagavat Dharma or Bhakti, Bhagavat Bhakti. And why is this? Why should you do it from the very beginning of your life? Dur labam. Dur means very hard, bad. Laba means to gain. It's very hard to gain a human body. How many species of life are there in the Vedic literatures? Who can answer that?
84 lakhs.
Yes. And how many? Yeah, so that's 8,400,000 different species. And you have to go through 8 million species just to get a human-like form. So it is very difficult to obtain. Durlabha manusham janma, manusha janma, birth as a human is very difficult to obtain. But tat artadam adruvam, and although it is adruvam, Dhruva was very fixed. He's the pole star. The pole star is the star that is fixed in the sky, and all the other the cosmos go around it. If you look up North Star, maybe photography on Google, you'll see that if you just leave the camera fixed on the pole star, every other star will go around it in a swirl, and that one will just stay fixed in the cosmos. So everything is moving but the pole star. So dhruvam means fixed, and human life is adruvam, very short-lived, impermanent, but it can give artadam. You see, this word is there. We have to know this word. Arta, value, wealth, or the ultimate gain or end, because it's used. Actually, the word labha also means the end or the gain. These two words are very similar, and they'll be used in similar ways in these verses that we're covering in the Bhagavatam. So labha, to obtain, or the end, the ultimate attainment, and Artha, wealth, but also means the end or the ultimate attainment. Very, very similar. Arthadam, it can dar in Spanish, it means to give. And so in Sanskrit, da, like we talked about in the class today, Yashoda, she gives fame. Our Narada, he's giving knowledge to the humans, the Naras, is da is to give. So Arthadam, this human life can give the greatest gain. So we shouldn't just be chasing after the things that as Rishabdev says, the excrement eating hogs and dogs are chasing after. We should practice tapo divyam, divine discipline, to attain something that is actually shreyas, not preyas. What is the difference between shreyas and preyas? I think Navaneet can answer that one. Who can answer that? Shreyas and preyas. Shreya Uttamam. Shreyas means long-standing benefit. Preyas means instant gratification. So we're looking for something that has long-term benefit, not just this instant gratification. So there we go. We see Jamie's in the car. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna. So in this verse, just to repeat, kama sadindriya pritir. Our desire, our kama, should actually just be directed toward, not towards the satisfaction of the indriyas, the senses. Kama sadindriya pritir. Jive, what is the next line? Kama sadindriya pritir. Labo jiveta labha yavata. We should just look for that gain of self-preservation, healthy body. Want to material desire? Just desire a healthy body. Why? Jivasya tattva jigyasya. Because in this life, you can actually understand the absolute truth. You can study it and not just study, but actually do a self-inquiry into what is God in my mind. Labo.
Jivate, yes.
Narto yasche karmini. No other artha, no other gain should be, no other end should be the result of your actions. So we discussed what should dharma be for. Dharma is for a liberation. It is not for artha, economic development. It is not for kama, material desires, and your material enjoyment, and even your material desires. You should just simply want to have a healthy body. Not much more than that. Any reflections? We'll read the purport, but stop here, see if there are any questions or reflections. Okay, so purport. I sent this email out and somebody responded. They wrote, "Whoa, my gosh, that is a bleak outlook on human nature." Because it's Prabhupada speaks very strongly in this purport. The completely bewildered. Now, many psychologists, philosophers will also speak to the same thing. The completely bewildered materialist civilization is wrongly directed towards the fulfillment of desires in sense gratification. Navaneet, how do you say sense gratification in Sanskrit? According to the verse?
Indriya Bhog.
Indriya Pritir.
Indriya Pritir or Indriya Bhog.
In politics, in social service, altruism, philanthropy, and ultimately in religion, and even in salvation, the very same tint of sense gratification is ever increasingly prominent. So Kali Yuga, it's increasing. In the political field, the leaders of men fight with one another to fulfill their personal sense gratification. The voters adore the so-called leaders when they promise sense gratification. And soon as the voters are dissatisfied with their own sense satisfaction, they dethrone the leaders. The leaders must always disappoint the voters by not satisfying their senses. The same is applicable in other fields. No one is serious about the problems of life. Even those who are on the path of salvation desire to become one with the absolute truth and desire to commit spiritual suicide for sense gratification. So that means they want to get rid of their sense of identity to become God. But the Bhagavatam says that one should not live for sense gratification. One should satisfy the senses only insomuch as required for self-preservation, and not for sense gratification. Who knows the first verse of the Ishopanishad? Not the invocation, but mantra 1. Anybody know that verse?
Yeah. Can you help me with the little starting?
Okay, I think I have to do the invocation to remember what's verse 1. So invocation, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnas
Purna
Purnat
Purna Vadushyate Purnadya
Purnasya
Purnamadaya.
Purnama Eva Vishishyate.
Yes. Om Purnamadam Purnamidam.
Oh my God. I'm gonna have to look it up. It's not coming to my database.
Yeah, it's the same you are saying. It's the same one.
Drop my headphone. Okay, one of the headphones dropped below. Can you still hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, my headphone is like underneath the patio. You found it?
Isha
Isha Idam Sarvam.
Ishavasyam idam sarvam
Sarvam.
yatkinchana
Yatkincha
jagatam jagat
jagat
yattena tattena
Tena
bhujita
yaktina
vancheta.
bhuttina magridha kasyasvid danam.
Very nice, very nice. So everything in this world, both animate and are inanimate, is owned and controlled by the Lord. One should only take what is necessary for oneself, one's quota, knowing well to whom it belongs to. So that's the idea of that Ishopanishad verse, that everyone has a quota. Their quota may be different. Some people are born with a different quota. How they can be peaceful and practice spiritual life may be different from somebody else. Somebody may be peaceful and practice spiritual life living in a very poor situation, and someone may find peace. And they have a higher demand, but they may also be able to make that kind of money easier than somebody else. So whatever is their quota, whatever they can do. Basically, Prabhupada, I believe it's in the 8th canto, he recommends that we should only work 8 hours a day. You can tell this to your boss. My religion says I can only work 8 hours a day. So he recommends you gotta have time for other parts of your life, especially your spiritual life. So the recommendation is no more than 8 hours. Let's see. Okay, where are we? The body is made of senses, which also require a certain amount of satisfaction. There are regulative directions for satisfaction of such senses, but the senses are not meant for unrestricted enjoyment. For example, marriage or the combination of man with a woman is necessary for progeny, but it's not meant for sense gratification. The absence of voluntarily restraint. There is propaganda for family planning. But foolish men do not know that family planning is automatically executed as soon as there is search after the absolute truth. Seekers of the absolute truth are never allured by unnecessary engagements in sense gratification, because the serious students seeking the absolute truth are always overwhelmed with the work of researching the truth. In every sphere of life, therefore, the ultimate end must be seeking after the absolute truth. That sort of engagement will make one happy, because he'll be less engaged in the varieties of sense gratification. And what that absolute truth is, it's explained as follows. And that is the next verse, the very, 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 very famous verse, the verse that you've probably heard on Wisdom of the Sages at least 100 times. And that we'll discuss next week. That is the Vadanti tat tat vidas tat vajajganam avyam prameti paramatmeti bhagavaneti shabjate. The absolute truth, the supreme absolute, is understood in 3 different names, 3 different features. And somebody gave a nice example: the pizza, smelling the pizza. Somebody say, you smell the pizza, but doesn't mean you've tasted the pizza, isn't it? Jahari, are you satisfied just by smelling the pizza?
No.
No,
Smelling
you want,
pizza makes me want to eat pizza.
yeah. So you smell the pizza, that's some experience of the pizza, but it's not complete. So the experience of Krishna's energy, his aura, his effulgence, his Brahmajyoti, is this oneness, that's just compared to the smell of the pizza. Now, seeing the Lord in everyone's heart, that is the next level, Paramatma. That's compared to seeing the pizza. First, you just smelled it. Now you see that pizza. So seeing the pizza, because you have what is this called? What are the three features of the soul? What are its qualities? Jahari.
Satchitananda.
Satchitananda. So the Sat feature is understood in Brahman. And in Paramatma, there's additional thing. There's knowledge. Because the Lord in the heart, he provides knowledge. Sarvascha chaham hridi shani vishto mata smitir gyanam apohanam cha. 15:15 Bhagavad Gita, he provides knowledge. So this Satchit is found in Paramatma. But Satchit Ananda, the Ananda feature, is only found in Bhagavan. Satchit Ananda, that personal relationship. So the personal relationship with Krishna is like compared to tasting the pizza. There's actual a blissful experience when you relate to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So some reflections here as I go pick up my headphone that fell down. Tell me. Any reflections? Jahari.
My reflection is that well, actually I had a question, if that's all right.
Oh, questions and comments? Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah, go for it.
So just really quick, you were talking about that Paramatma has Sat and Chit, and Bhagavan is Sat Chit Ananda. Does that mean that Brahman is only Sat?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Eternality. There's no chit. There's no complete awareness of the self and some awareness of God.
Oh yeah. Very nice.
But you realize this eternality, the truth, this absolute existence. Maybe I should not go too far. Maybe get too far from the Wi-Fi. But it is a little. So it's nice getting the sun a little bit.
I guess what's challenging for me is that because we hear so many in times in Srila Prabhupada's purports that that impersonalism is never ever good, right? And it can actually spoil devotional service because if like, let's say, we just heard this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class in the temple. that there was Lord Chaitanya was talking to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and he was hearing him for like 7 days, but and he didn't even say anything. And then finally, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, "Okay, are you even hearing me? You're not even responding. You're not saying anything." And he was just patiently hearing. But I mean, he can do that because he's Lord Chaitanya. He's the Lord. But the purport was that like like it's bhakti might not be permanent, right? It's like that just like we can influence an impersonalist to become a Vaishnava, but they also might be able to influence a Vaishnava to become impersonalist. So that and then you hear Srila Prabhupada talking about always blasting the impersonalists, right? But so the challenge for me is to somehow like recognize that that Brahman is still the Lord. It's not like it's like this like separate part of the Lord. That's still the Lord, and the Brahman should still be respected. But at the same time, we should just try to encourage ourselves and others to maybe strive for the Bhagavan realization, and not necessarily like criticize it. Is that making sense? Something like that?
Yeah. So what we have most experience with is Mayavadi. Mayavadi philosophy is the philosophy that the world, everything is an illusion. It is unreal. It doesn't actually exist. That's a Mayavad. And Brahmavad is someone who has an attraction. They're drawn to approach the impersonal side of the Supreme. But if they get a hint of the fragrance of Krishna, like we smell the pizza, now if they get, this is a little more different, they get a hint of the personal side, like the four Kumaras, when they smelt the tulsi leaves placed on the Lord's lotus feet, they automatically became attracted. Or Shukadev Goswami was a Brahmavad. He was an impersonalist, but not a Mayavad. He was an impersonal. He had some spiritual depth, and he was attracted to this feature of this absolute spirit being everywhere. Now the difference is that the Mayavad makes the offense, saying that God's form is actually just an illusion. God is unreal. The idea of the personhood, the being of God is an unreal thing. So that's where they make an offense, and that's where they, that's what brings them further away. Like in the beginning of this section about bhakti, it says Savaipum Samparo Dharmo Yato Bhakti Adhokshaje Ahaituki Apratihata Yatma Suprasidati. So Pratihata, it is not only unmotivated, but it's uninterrupted. So Mayavadi, Sankacharya will say in his literature, a true Mayavadi, you know that?
I'm sorry, what was the last thing?
A true Mayavadi will say Krishna is God, Vishnu is God. You know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, they will say he's God, but he's just a big figure in the illusion. Like say I'm the president in the Matrix, but it's just an illusion anyway. So they'll say, yeah, there's like this whole Maya and God's on the top, but the whole thing is an illusion. So that's their take. Do you understand?
Yeah, that's so tricky.
Yeah, so the idea, so that takes away any sort of relationship, because even Mayavadis will worship Vishnu, worship Krishna, but the idea is to become Krishna, to get rid of Krishna. And when you achieve your liberation, you're not eternally loving God in the spiritual world.
you're now the supreme absolute thing. Anirvachaniya, cannot be even described. You're just the absolute energy. Of course, there's many faults there, because if you were God, why are you not now? Why are you suffering with a toothache? Why are you having diarrhea and stomach aches and all these? Why did the supreme absolute truth come and suffer in this miserable condition of life? Who would say, oh, Maya got you. Well, then Maya is God, because then Maya was stronger than you. How did that work? And if Jai Hari is God and he attains liberation and he becomes self-realized, then why not me? Am I not him? Aren't we all just one thing? How does one achieve liberation and one not? Like, doesn't the whole thing become liberated instantaneously? And of course, at Karyavad, if I see personhood here, what is the first line of the Vedanta Sutra? Not the what is the first verse of Vedanta Sutra? Anybody know? It's also in the Bhagavatam, first line of Bhagavatam. Janmad asya yataha. From that which from everything comes from. So where does personhood come from? The Supreme. If I've got it, God's got it, but in imperfection. He is the what do you call the paradigmatic being, the perfect prototype of everything. So you have Brahmavad and Mayavad. They're a little bit different. Mayavad, it makes an offense, makes an aparad, and therefore that brings them away of denying the existence of God. But remember, we are, what is Lord Chaitanya's philosophy called?
Achinta Beta Beta.
Yeah, it means oneness and difference, not just difference. Oneness and difference. If God is simply different from us, he's just up there. Like, generally the kind of Christian take on this world is like kind of the modern take. It's just for us to enjoy. This river's not divine. This fence, that's not God. This rock is not God. Nothing is divine. Nothing's really connected. God is simply up there. So there's a little bit of a disconnection, and therefore it can also be a little bit of disrespect. We don't actually see anything connected to God. It's just kind of mundane, profane. Who cares how we treat this world? And the opposite is, there's no God up there. Everything is just God. And so, so we have both. We understand that this is Krishna's energy. Like Prabhupada said, turn off the lights, you leave the room. It's Krishna's energy. Don't waste it. It's his property. Ishavasyam Jagat Sarvam. Going back to Ishavanishad. The Supreme Lord is what? Owner of, controller of all things animate and inanimate. So everything comes from him. Does that answer your query?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Okay, and if there's no other, then we should practice our verse. Any other questions? So let's start practicing.
Oh, I did have a question, but it's not exactly related.
Okay, let's give a question, see if we can deal with it quickly, or we'll continue on the verse.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. Okay. When Jai and Vijay approached the four Kumaras, were they both accepted to be a demon for 3 lifetimes, or just one of them? And what happened to the other one? And who took the position of Hiranyakashipu?
I think it's Jai that's the older. So he's like the main one.
Yeah. So what happened to Vijay then? Where did he go? What did he do?
He's Hiranyaksha. Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha, Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Shishupal, Dantavakra, and Jagai, Madai. 2 brothers.
Ah. So it was Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu.
Yeah. 2 brothers, 2 powerful brothers.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay.
So Kamasya nindriya pritir. Kamasya nindriya. I'm gonna go inside. I think it's a little chilly, and then I can plug my phone in so it doesn't die. I had this was my this yogi frog was holding my phone in a nice position, so it's they forgot. I was looking at the selfie stick when I left the house, and I was like, should I bring it out? And I don't know, Krishna was trying to tell me something because I was like, what do I need a selfie stick? And I forgot. That's sort of, I'm not going to be giving the class at home, so I need something to hold the phone up. Otherwise, so here's Froggy helps me out. So we're here at Krishnamanga Sisters' house. And I'll pull out the book just to make sure we don't. Nindriya. So Indriya means what? Jahari?
The
Indriyas?
senses.
Indriyas. Okay, go like
The
that.
senses.
Indriyas. Senses. Do it.
Senses.
Indriyas.
Mhm.
Do that.
Senses.
The Indriyas. Just imagine you have like little octopus sense limbs. Indriyas. Okay. And Priti. What does Priti mean?
Priti means satisfaction.
Yes. Kamasya nindriya priti. Kamasya nindriya priti.
Kamasya nindriya priti.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Kamasya nindriya priti.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
So this is chapter 1, Canto 1, chapter 2, text 10. If you want to follow along, Veda base. If you, I don't know, Carmen, you have it there with you too.
Yeah.
And Jamie, I don't know, maybe on your phone it's a little hard to do both, but are you? Yeah, it's so Veda base. Just go to vedabase.com. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, first canto, chapter 2, text 10. Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jivet yavata.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
I don't know. I think I should not nindriya because it's a short A. Kamasya nindriya pritir. It's a long I.
Sorry.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
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 Kamasya nindriya priti.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Kamasya nindriya Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jivet yavata.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jivet yavata.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya
nindriya
priti.
pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Kamasya nindriya pritir.
Labo jiveta yavata.
Labo jivet yavata.
Okay, who can recite the first line with their eyes closed?
Kamasya
Okay, ready?
nindriya. Okay.
Navaneet?
Kamasya nendriya priti labho jivita yavata.
Yavata, yes. Jai
Kamasya
Okay.
labho
Kamasya niviyata
nendriya
pritir.
Say it again.
Kamasya nendriya pritir.
Very nice.
Labo jivetya yavata.
Kamasya Nindriya Pretir Labo Jivet Yavata Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa
Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa
Jivasya tattva Oh, sorry.
Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jijnasya.
How do you say that life is for understanding the absolute truth?
Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jijnasya.
Jigyasa.
Nyasya.
Yeah. So, Jahiri, next time you're at Whole Foods and the cashier asks you, how do you say absolute truth? Life is for understanding absolute truth. What do you tell them?
Jivatyas tattva jijnasya.
Jivasya. Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jijnasya.
Jigyasa. Jivasya Tattva Jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jijnasya.
Notice right, like Jnana is a J, N, A. Gya. So this is Gyasa instead of Gyana. Tattva Jigyasa. Tattva Jigyasa.
Jignasya.
Jigyasa.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is life for?
Jivasya tattva jigyasa. It's for understanding the truth.
Yes. Jahri, what's life for?
Life is for understanding the absolute truth.
But how would you say that in Sanskrit?
Oh, Jivyasya tattva gyanasya.
Jigyasa.
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 Jigyanyasya. No,
Jigyasa.
Jigyasya.
No, there's no Y there. Sa. Jigyasa.
Jigyasya.
No H. Jigyasa.
Oh, one more time.
G. What does it say? Say gyasa.
Gyasya.
Gyasa.
Yasa.
Gyasa.
Yasa.
Gyasa.
Yasa.
Jigyasa.
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 No, not sya. No Y. Sa. Jigyasa.
Jigyasa.
Yes. And what is it for? Is it to understand the human life is meant for understanding politics?
No. Nahi.
No, it's tattva jigyasa.
Tattva jigyasa.
It's for understanding truth. Tattva jigyasa.
Tattva jigyasa.
Tattva jigyasa.
Tattva jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jigyasya. No, sorry, messed it up. Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Jigyasa.
So jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Yes. Okay, say it again.
Jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Okay. Now, Carmen, how about you give us some chanting, some versing?
Kamasya nindriya kritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa.
Naruto, yasceha karmabihi. No other end, no other goal, no other end. Yasceha karmabihi. Whatsoever by your karmas, by your actions. Just desire a healthy life. Don't be too greedy for more than that. Don't be chasing after. What does Rishabh Dave say in English, Jackery? Nayom deho deha vidbujam ye. What does he say? Rishabh Dave, Jackery? What does he say?
Don't search after. I don't know. More than you need. More than is your quota.
He said, no, that's the Ishapanishad. He said, don't chase after the same things the poop eating hogs and the poop eating dogs are chasing after. Because tapo divyam putra kayena satvam. This human life is for spiritual discipline. Because then you can attain something permanent, some permanent happiness, not the temporary happiness that you've already chased after in previous lives. And you get this labha, what is this? Bandha. You get this frustration. You have parishrama, you have hard work, you have foam at the mouth, you have bondage and frustration, fear, and then finally death. Don't chase after those things that only actually reward you in such ways. Get the shreyas, get the ultimate gain, get the apavarga, the ultimate liberation. Kamasya nindriya pritir labho jiveta yavata. So say those two lines.
Kamasya nindriya priti labho jivet yavata.
Jivasya tattva jigyasa narto yasceha karma bihi.
Jivasya tattva jigyasa narto yasceha karma bihi.
Yeah, and we'll do this last line again. Narto yasceha karma bihi.
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 Narto yasceha karma bihi. I have a question.
Yes.
I see the diacritical mark underneath the last H on the fourth line. And is it true that if there's a diacritical mark underneath an H on the second or fourth line, that it could be an extra syllable at the end? So
that could be, should be.
Oh, should be. Thank you.
Karma bihi.
That's
that
why.
I over.
So the I goes on the other side of the H because of the diacritical mark.
Yeah. If you look in the Sanskrit, you'll see, if you look at the verse, you'll see a colon symbol at the very end. That's the same letter. You see it on the Sanskrit?
Oh, hold on, it's covered up. Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the same letter. And you see how in the Sanskrit it's only written in 2 lines.
Yeah.
So the 2 lines, they end at the end of the second and the end of the fourth.
Oh.
So if that colon symbol's at the end of either of those two lines, or the second or the fourth, or as in the Sanskrit, at the end of the line, karma bihi. It's just whatever vowel is there is carried over. Narto yascheha karma bihi. Narto. Okay. So karma bihi. Narto yascheha karma bihi.
Narto yascheha karma bihi.
Narto yascheha karma bihi.
Narto yascheha karma bihi.
Okay, I think we're time for us to finish here. We're gonna start driving back to New York City. Say hi to Jai-Hari.
Hi, Krishna.
Haribol.
See you for a
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
This is
Yeah.
Navaneet, and Carmen's there too. Remember?
Hare Krishna.
Hi.
Carmen's
How are
right here.
you? Good, good. Jai.
And Navaneet, where are you calling in from?
I'm from India, Himachal Pradesh, one state known as Himachal Pradesh.
She's where. Yeah, she's where Navaneet is where it snows. Himalcha, snowy mountains.
Oh wow. I want to
Yeah.
go there.
Yes.
I love snow.
So that's Krishna Mangala. That's my wife.
Oh, okay. Okay, Krishna Mangala. Hare Krishna Mataji.
All right, so we'll see you guys later.
Okay,
Okay.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Thank you
Continue
so
on your
much.
meditation and your practice. Thank you, Navaneet, for joining in. Thank you, Carmen.
so
Thank you,
much.
Jai-Hari. All right, we'll see. Hopefully, see you next week. That next week's that big important verse.
Okay.
Oh my God, did it record at all? Oh my God, I don't think it recorded.
Oh, Krishna.
It says it's recording.
Okay,
Yeah, it says it's recording. Yeah, yeah.
okay, I see the record button. And I was wondering why does it say it doesn't say pause. Okay, well, we'll see. Hopefully, we get a recording because we've got to share it with everybody else. Haribol. Thank you.
Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Uh,
Thank you so much, everybody.